Looking to move to Sunnyvale? Well, that's why I'm here right now. So right now here I'm in downtown Sunnyvale in the historic Murphy Avenue. It's named after the founder of Sunnyvale, who was actually named Martin Murphy in the late 19th century. And before this area was the center of agriculture and food canning, but now this is the center of entertainment and food options in the entire city of Sunnyvale. Walking down the street here, it's kind of the middle of the day, middle afternoon, not really like eating time, so it's a little bit more quiet than it is usually here. But just walking around, I see a Burmese restaurant, I see a Chinese restaurant, I also see a Mediterranean restaurant and an Italian restaurant. So there's plenty of things to do here. Also, if you're looking to get to the nightclub scene, I'll be honest, there's not too many nightclubs here down in South Bay, but here in Murphy Avenue, right down the street, there's a nightclub called Pure Nightclub. So there's definitely plenty of things to do down here. All right, I'm gonna take a seat, a little tired. But let's talk about Sunnyvale. So Sunnyvale is the second most populous city in the entire Santa Clara County. It's the seventh most populous city in the entire Bay Area. But don't be deceived what you see here. Sunnyvale in its entirety is a suburb, which I know does sound kind of boring, but in reality it's perfect for families. Because why? Because you got great public schools. It just feels super safe. And it's also close to a lot of tech companies here in Silicon Valley. Meta has an office here, Apple has an office here, Google has an office here, Amazon has an office here. Lockheed Martin is also a company that has an office here, hires a lot of employers. So, there's definitely a lot to do here in Sunnyvale. Also one great thing about Sunnyvale compared to most Bay Area suburbs, you're gonna get a good mix of entertainment options and like housing, right? Because most suburbs here in the Bay Area, it's just residential. There's really nothing else to do there. You have to drive out if you want to do fun things. But I think the nice part of Sunnyvale is, yeah, it's also a good place to live, but just really even walking distance, there's so many fun things to do. So no wonder everyone's trying to move out here to Sunnyvale. So in this video, I'm gonna take you around the entire city of Sunnyvale, show you different homes in different neighborhoods that just sold. That sold at below median list price, sold at the median list price of Sunnyvale, and some above the median price of Sunnyvale. So you get a different feel of all the different neighborhoods of Sunnyvale of different price points. So at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you a detailed market report of the housing market here in Sunnyvale. So if you're planning to move to Sunnyvale, you definitely wanna stick around for that. So if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about there is about living in the Bay Area, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know the current market here in the Bay Area. My name is Austin Lee and I get calls and emails every single day from people just like you who are planning to make that move in the Bay Area. So whether you're planning to make that move in 9 days or 9 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or send an appointment on Calendly, and I'll promise I'll help you make a smooth move here in the Bay Area. Alright, so now let's go check out some houses. So our first house, I'm going to drive 10 minutes north of just where in downtown Sunnyvale and check out this house that just sold right behind me. So this house is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,108 square foot, sold for $1.57 million, so that's about a $14-17 price per square foot. And this house was built in 1957, so that's pretty standard here. Most houses are built in the 1950s, 1960s, but it's definitely been work that's been done. So this is the Lakewood neighborhood especially. So the Lakewood neighborhood is a neighborhood of all single family homes. It's north of Highway 101 and adjacent to Lawrence Expressway. And I think the reason why this neighborhood's a little bit on the lower, cheaper end is because it's near Highway 101. And Highway 101 is a really busy highway. So generally people don't want to be near these really busy highways because it can be really noisy. There'll also be a lot of traffic. But honestly, walking around this neighborhood, it still feels very quiet. I don't really hear the highway that much. So honestly, it really shouldn't be that big of an issue. And plus, when you're also near a highway, at least, it makes it commuting very easy, right? Because Highway 101, that's the highway that leads you to most tech companies. It takes you all the way up to San Francisco, so it's just very convenient to get to other places. There's also a shopping center really nearby called AMC Mercado, which is about a 5-minute drive. There's a nice movie theater, there's an In-N-Out there, there's a Panda Express, there's a lot of nice convenient restaurants. There's a Walmart there. You're also near a Costco, just right down Lawrence Express, which is a 5-10 minute drive. So yeah, even though this location, in some ways, people might not like it, there's also a lot of good things about this location because it's just closely located to a lot of local amenities. From a school mapping standpoint, this house maps to Fremont High School, which is about 7 out of 10 on grade school ratings, but it's a 9 out of 10 on test scores. And test scores, that's the most important metric because that's the metric that shows that students are testing well, which means they'll be adequately prepared as they go on to college. So honestly, this neighborhood is not a bad place at all if you're looking to buy in Sunnyvale. It's definitely very, very affordable compared to most houses in Sunnyvale, and you'll get that Sunnyvale address. I'll admit the houses here, they're not the most fancy looking. They may look a little bit outdated, but you'll do the work on the inside, and plus, since you get the house in the Sunnyvale address, the house is going to get a lot of appreciation. So this is definitely not a bad place to get your first house here in Sunnyvale. Alright, so let's go check out some other houses. So for this next house, we're going to drive 10 minutes south of where we just were and check out this house that just sold right behind me. So this house that just sold right behind me is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,488 square foot. It just sold for $2.15 million. So that's about $14.44 price per square foot. So that's definitely on the cheaper end here in Sunnyvale. And I think the reason it sold a little bit lower is because it's near on the corner of Wolf Street. So Wolf Street's a really busy street. I mean, it's also good that because it takes you to Cupertino, but again, it's very busy. So I can see why people want a little more privacy. But overall, this house is in a great location. Like I said, being close to Wolf Street means you have really easy access to Cupertino. And Cupertino, Apple's there. And there's also a lot of good restaurants and Chinese amenities there. So if you like Chinese food, this is definitely a great location. But you don't have to pay the Cupertino prices, right? Because Cupertino in generally is a little bit more expensive area. So you get those amenities without having to pay that really expensive price. This neighborhood overall just feels very safe. I see a lot of students just walking home from school, students just running around from their cross-country practice. So if you have young kids, they can just walk around here unsupervised. It just feels very, very safe. So I think that's just really great for young families. From a location standpoint, there's a lot of amenities nearby. You're near El Camino Real, which is a 5-minute drive. Lawrence Expressway is another 5-minute drive. And those are 2 main streets where a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping. So it's just really easy to get around. And also from a school mapping standpoint, this house maps to Wilcox High School, which is about 7 out of 10 on the grade school ratings, 9 out of 10 on the test scores, which again, test scores is probably the most important. So overall, if you're looking for a house in Sunnyvale, I would say if you want to be near Cupertino, so you really like being close to those amenities, especially the more Chinese ones, I think this is definitely a great place to be because you're going to be really close to Cupertino, you're almost living in Cupertino, but you're paying a lot cheaper than most houses in Cupertino. So, and honestly, it feels very similar to a house that's in Cupertino from like a vibe and feeling standpoint. So, with that, let's go check out the next house. So for our next house, we're going to drive 10 minutes west of where we just were and check out this house that just sold right behind me. So this house that just sold right behind me, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,508 square feet, and it just sold for $2.55 million. So that's about the median sales price about houses here in Sunnyvale. And then for a price per square footage, that's about 1,691 price per square foot. So that's actually a little bit more expensive than most houses here in Sunnyvale. So I think one reason that this house in Sunnyvale sold very well is because this neighborhood is really, really nice, right? It's very quiet, it feels very peaceful. You can see there's a little more trees and more kind of natural greenery compared to most suburbs that we've seen in Sunnyvale. Also, it maps to a really, really solid school. I believe the best school in this area, Homestead High School, which is about 8 out of 10 on the grade school ratings and 9 out of 10 on the test scores. So, make no mistake, a really good house here in the whole Bay Area generally maps to a really, really good school district. But overall, this house is also really close to the elementary school, West Valley Elementary School. It's literally walking distance. So, you have young kids, you can just literally walk with your kids to school before you head out to work. I guess one downside of elementary school is you're going to get a little bit of traffic right during the day in the morning from the pickup times, but generally when you're near a school, that's definitely more of a positive than a negative. Overall, this house is also located near Highway 85, and Highway 85 is a main highway that gets you to a lot of other cities in the Bay Area. It all connects directly to Highway 101, and again, like we said, Highway 101, a lot of tech companies, gets you up to San Francisco. So again, it's not so close to the highway where you hear the cars, but it's also close enough to the highways where you need to get anywhere. It's just a 3 to 5 minute drive to whatever a city you need to get around in the Bay Area. What did I say, right? I said we're near elementary school, right? So as you can see, this is a really solid house. You're in a great neighborhood, got great location. So if you definitely can afford the higher school district, I definitely recommend a house out here in Sunnyvale. All right, so for our last house, we're gonna go back to similar where we just were near that Cupertino, Sunnyvale border near Wolf Road. So this house right behind me, this is actually the most expensive house that just sold this past month here in Sunnyvale. So just give me the high end of what's the best you can get here in Sunnyvale. So this house was built in 2006. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 3,555 square feet. It sold for $3.98 million. So that's about $1,200 price per square foot. So that's actually a lot cheaper than what you would think, because houses in Sunnyvale generally sell about $1,600 price per square foot. So from a price per square footage, this is actually a pretty good deal. But obviously you see it's built in 2006, so I can see the owner, they probably just bought it. When they bought it, they just tore it down and just completely rebuilt it. So from a neighborhood standpoint, this neighborhood probably isn't as nice as you would think from a really expensive house. As you see, there's not really much of a sidewalk, so it's not really a great place to walk around. And there's also a bunch of cars because you can see roofs right behind me. So I think all cars that live in this neighborhood, they just kind of funnel all their traffic here. So for walking standpoint, it's actually not that great. But I think the great thing about this house is the location, right? Because you're super close to Cupertino, even closer than the house that we saw earlier. Like, you're literally walking distance for those amenities I was talking about in Cupertino. So again, that just shows the importance of a really good location, because right, I get those Cupertino amenities, but I don't have to pay those Cupertino housing prices because I don't have that Cupertino school district I have to pay for. From a school district standpoint, this house maps to Wilcox High School. So again, 7 out of 10 on great school ratings, about 9 out of 10 on the test score. So it's very similar to the house that we just saw earlier. So if you really want to live in this neighborhood, you actually don't even have to pay that $3.98 million price tag. You can definitely get houses a lot cheaper. You know, I see a good mix of houses on the older side here as well. So this is definitely a neighborhood that's kind of like redeveloping. There's been houses that were built in the 1959, 60s that, you know, haven't been touched, but there's also people that like bought those houses probably at a really low price, and they just tore it down because they probably got the house price really low, and then they just made the house, you know, a lot bigger, a lot more modern, a lot more updated. So yeah, this is definitely not a bad place if you want to live near Cupertino but don't want to pay that Cupertino price. All right, so with that, let's go back to the office and give you that market report. All right, so I'm now back in the home office. So here's the market report for houses that just sold in Sunnyvale in April 2024. So the good news is, in April, 48 houses were sold in Sunnyvale, which is up 36 from March, so that's a 25% increase in inventory. But the bad news is the prices of these homes are continually going up. The median sale home price in April is $2.66 million, whereas in March it was $2.39 million. Also, the average sale price per square foot was $1,601, whereas in March it was $1,480, so that's about a 14% increase in just 1 month. Also, the average sale price is 116% above the listed price. So what that tells me is there's often multiple offers on these houses, so often that the winning bid needs to go higher than the listed price. And also expect to pay more than the listed price in your house search, so be sure when you're searching for homes, search a little bit lower than your budget. Also, the median time a house has been on the market here in Santa Clara is 8 days. So, you know, what that tells me is when you go shopping for homes, you know, it's important to be pre-approved because it shows that you can write an offer in a house immediately, since most agents, they receive offers on the Wednesday after the first open house. So currently, good news, there's a little bit more inventory on the market right now. There's 101 active listings, there's 45 active listings for single family homes, 17 active listings for condos, and 39 listings for townhomes. The highest active listing is $4.5 million, while the lowest listing is a condo for just under $600,000. So if you're looking to buy a house, I would recommend getting in contact with me as soon as possible. Set an online appointment with me so we can best equip you to get a house you love at a great price, because these housing prices are only going up. And if you happen to live in Sunnyvale currently or have lived in Sunnyvale, feel free to share in the comments what you think potential movers would find useful. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions or real estate needs in the Bay Area, feel free to contact me. All right, see you soon.